Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Hi, it's Jonathan Cotton with the Good Feet Store, and I've shared before how I love an organization called TAPS, Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors. Recently, we invited some TAPS family members who had lost a military loved one to have dinner with us. As we listened to their stories, I was reminded again of how the loss of a military loved one is such a devastating experience. Not only is the loved one gone, but often they lose their military community, and sometimes an entire lifestyle. My heart was sad over their grief, yet my spirit was inspired by their courage. Then to top it off, I was amazed at their graciousness as they thanked us for just listening. At the Good Feet Store, we love helping you get out of pain and back into the life you love, and we love supporting the work of TAPS. Come in today for your free fitting and test walk and ask any of our team members why TAPS is an organization that every American can support. Visit goodfeet.com for the location nearest you.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is. Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
Streaming only on Peacock.
John Wayne Gacy killed 32.
Straight from the killer's mouth.
They want you to believe that I alone committed these murders.
The new gripping 6-part documentary series, John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise. All episodes streaming now, only on Peacock.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
Tina Helmuth is writing an ongoing series of fact-fiction books that boldly takes on today's most heinous crimes, the abduction, sexual trafficking, and cannibalization of our children. Suffer the Little Children, The Wrath of the Father, and Unbreakable. Deeply researched and mixed with the supernatural, good versus evil makes these thrillers hard to put down, shining a light on the root cause of these crimes and introducing a spiritual solution. Justice will be served. Available at lulu.com in paperback or ebook.
Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions2, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. And yes, I am aware of the dead air. Everybody calm down, okay? I don't need a million messages, please. All right, we had a little dead air. It's not the end of the world. Welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. They call me Dead Air Opperman. That's what they call me in the radio biz. Welcome to the Opperman Report. One more time. Let's try and get this out of here. Gadzooks. Hey, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. You can find me at Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting at emailrevealer.com. You can also find an autographed copy of my book, How to Become a Successful Private Investigator, at emailrevealer.com. If you think your spouse is cheating on you, they probably are. Listen, who can put up with you, right? Cheating on you? Of course they are. You give us their email address. We trace it back to online dating websites. We catch them cheating online. We trace it back to personal ads and social media stuff you're not aware of. Emailrevealer.com. Adoption Investigations locates asset searches. This show is brought to you by our brand new sponsor, CartKing.com. Cart-King.com. 877-986-7771. CartKing.com. Get a hold of this, man. What these guys do is they built these kiosks and carts that you see in shopping malls or that sell coffee in a coffee kiosk, right? Or if you want to sell your products, let's say you have crafts, you make crafts, right? You work all year long making your crafts. And what you want to do is you want to sell these crafts, right? So you want to go into a mall, and you can't just stand there with a table, you have to have one of these fancy carts or a kiosk to sell your wares from. Or you want to rent a little space in the lobby of a hospital and sell coffee kiosks. This is the same kind of cart and kiosks that I had when I had my beeper company, and I went into the Staten Island Mall, and that turned into a huge company with 100 employees. We were in 3 malls ultimately and had several storefronts. What a business that was. What a fun time that was. Email revealer, CartKing.com. CartKing. Cart-King.com. 877-986-7771. Check out the website. And they got a little video, shows all different kind of carts they can sell. If you want to sell fireworks for 4th of July, you buy one of their kiosks, an outdoor kiosks, all kind of fun stuff. I'm waiting for their ad copy. Haven't gotten it yet. We're going to have a link on the website. Just bailed us out here. These guys saved our lives. We probably would have been off the air soon if we didn't get these guys, because we lost our YouTube monetization. YouTube says, we've decided to not pay you anymore. Okay, how's that? We've just decided not to pay you anymore. All that work you did, all those shows you uploaded, for us, we're not going to pay anymore. So I said, oh, really? Well, you're not going to pay me? Well, I'm not going to put my shows on there. I'm going to take my shows down. But the only problem is YouTube was paying for Spreaker, and Spreaker is what uploads us to iHeart and iTunes, and I even use it to broadcast on the stations too. So it was a real bad situation for us. I had a really bad week this week. It was a really, really rough week, man. And this guy from CartKing.com contacted me and says, hey, I want to sponsor you for a year. So God bless you, Cart King. Thank you so much. We'll be they got a video. We're going to be putting that up as soon as I get all their information. Be coming to us. CartKing.com. Cart-King.com. 877-986-7771. And even if you need a little advice, consulting, and get a hold of me. If you're going to buy a cart, I'll give you some advice on how to get into malls and stuff like that. Just don't take too much of my time, okay? Please. It's been some crazy freaking week. You have no idea. I had to do an asset search this week, and so normally, you get the retainer, and then you have to purchase some of the information. It's it needs sources, that can sell you this information. So you got to pay them off, and then you spend a couple hours, 3 hours, putting a report together, because usually when you do these asset searches, there's not that many assets. You say you're going to find corporations and trusts and all this kind of stuff, but usually the people, they don't have that many assets. They're like, oh my God, I'm doing this asset search, and the guy's got insurance policies, he's got investments, he's got a bunch of corporations, the defunct ones and active ones and inactive ones, and we found a trust, all this stuff around property that, they didn't know about, and we found secret property. Oh my God. So I'm sitting, it took me 12 hours to do the report, not to find the information, do all the work, and I had to pay, I want to work for like $4 an hour to do this freaking report, My God. I started working at 8, the night before I had to set up the report, and then you have to start copying and pasting all the information. My God, Zooks. So I had this exhausting week, with the YouTube thing happened, and I had to work on that report. And I tomorrow we're playing a repeat, by the way, too. Then I had a really good guest, Nathan Forrest Winters, the guy who was molested by Silva in the movie Clown House or Clown Town. And poor guy, his father died over the weekend, so we had to cancel that. And then I was supposed to be interviewing a few people, and we had to cancel those. It was a really, really rough, horrible week. Then my car broke down. I was picking up Vic at her new debate. She was down at the college every day this week at UNLV with her world school debate team. They're about to go on a trip, so they were training for it. And I had to go down to the college there, and I'm sitting there, in the parking lot, engines idling, and suddenly the warm temperature light goes on. So I figured I had a little water, had a little oil, cool it off. But the radiator blew. I had to put a new radiator in. So I had been stuck in a house since the day before yesterday. But I got no food. I had no food here at the house. So it's been some crazy week, man. Let me tell you. So tomorrow's going to be a repeat. Unless, who knows, maybe I'll do a live. Maybe I'll just do a 1 hour repeat, and I'll do a solo segment for you if something comes up that I have to talk about. No sense of just babbling with nothing to say. All right? All right. Okay, so here we are. You may already be a winner. Okay. Now, remember when you were a kid, right? And, you started getting the mail. Like let's say you're 6, 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, you're 3rd grade, 4th grade, right? And you got that envelope, and it said, Publishers Clearinghouse Sweepstakes. You may already be a winner of $10 million, $40 million. The thing got crazy after the one, right? You may be a winner. And when you read it, it kind of looks like you won something, right? So you'd run to your parents and say, look, we won. It's a sweepstakes. It says we won. And I say, no, you didn't really win. I say, no, I think we won. And then, next year you get another one, and you're a little bit older, and you start realizing that it's a gimmick, It's kind of a little hoax on you. And you fall for it, when you're a kid. But as you're growing up, you're going to become more experienced and a little wiser, hopefully, right? And you don't fall for this every time this thing comes into your mailbox. And now they don't even send them out anymore, I don't think, because nobody's falling for it anymore, right? People kind of realize that nobody wins that freaking thing, right? Except Ed McMahon probably went to his grave with all that money, right? Probably had it buried under his coffin. Anyway. By the way, there was a story about how when Ed McMahon was going broke, he was losing his house, that Trump wanted to bail him out by buying his house and renting it back to him. Trump does a big publicity tour, saying, I'm going to save Ed McMahon's house. And he turns out he wants to rent it back to him. McMahon says, what are you talking about? I don't want that deal. So anyway, back to Publishers Clearance. Now, you may already be a winner. Now, when I first started doing this radio show, I was a little gullible. I kind of bought into a lot of these alt media characters and heroes and larger than life voices on the radio there. And I kind of believe their stories. And I started at that station we talked about, and I hadn't even started my first show yet. And I get a document sent to me over Skype from the owner of the station. And I says, what's this? And he goes, leaked documents. And I said, oh my goodness, leaked documents. I'm on the inside now. Now I'm getting the inside scoop, the real stuff. I open it up and I see it. It said DARPA internal memo. And I was, oh my goodness, look at this. I'm really on the inside. So I said, let me look into this and verify this information. So I did a real job on this. I did real work. I contacted people who I knew that were affiliated with DARPA. I looked up the names and and I tried to verify this. And I found out that thing was a piece of crap. It was a hoax. And I put together a little report, and I sent it back, and I didn't hear anything. Hey, you invited me on your station here. I'm a professional. I looked into your document here. I find out it's a hoax. It's a fraud. And I start noticing that the other hosts are still talking about it like it's real. Well, maybe they don't know. I'll send them my report. No, they're still talking about it like it's real. Well, maybe I'm the silly goose. Maybe I'm just a foolish little PI. Doesn't know what he's doing. Doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't know about Nibiru and, the coming global economic collapse and all these things that I hear these people talking about. Somehow I didn't get that memo. So I contact the guy who's behind this hoax, and I trick him. Okay, I tell him I want to do a documentary about the making of a hoax. And he gets back, oh, that's a great idea. I want to do it. My real name is this. Okay. And I said, well, hey, I'm the same guy. You're busted. Right? So the guy confesses he's got busted. So I go back to the owner of the station and all these other people. And I says, hey, look, the guy confessed to me. Still nothing. Then they're going on the air, still saying it's real. I'm going to do a whole show about this in the member section. I'm going to mention everybody's names. I'm keeping it hot in my pocket, you might say. So that was my first experience with being an alt media hoax, right? So about a year ago, 2 years ago, I'm sitting, wake up, check out my Facebook messages. I got a million of them every freaking day. And I notice some friend requests, right? And when I get a friend request, I check it out. I say, well, how many mutual friends do we have? Let me see what's going on. And nowadays, if I go to their page, I see their Trump, phone Q nonsense. I just ignore them. Who needs a headache, right? And there's certain people who friend request me, and when I see who their mutual friends are, I know they're the type of people who accept anybody. They don't vet anybody out. They just accept anybody. And a lot of times it's those porn stuff, And so those I'll take a closer look at before I accept them. But back a couple of years ago, I accept this friend request, and the guy starts sending me YouTube videos. And he kind of says something along the lines of, we're trying to get this information out there. It's really important that we circulate this and we make it go viral. So, I check out the video, it's not very convincing. And I said, well, okay, thanks, but no thanks. I'm really not interested in this. And then I start getting more messages from the guy trying to convince me, And then I start getting messages to my other accounts, the Ed Opperman PI and the Opperman Report and the Awake Radio and all these other things I'm involved in from different names, but pretty much the same text. Hey, we're trying to get this out there. We're trying to make this go viral. It's really important, Almost like they're talking to me like I'm in on it with them, that I'm kind of in on, and we got to get this out here. This is our assignment for today, to get this out there. And how like when you're on a message board and you're chatting back and forth with people, you kind of like get a feeling for an ear of what their writing style is like, and you kind of get used to it, and you can kind of detect it. And when they set up a sock puppet account, you kind of know it's them right away. I got a really good ear for that, and I came to the conclusion very quickly on, and it was circulating. This was George Webb. This was George Webb's people promoting George Webb. And the first video he ever did before nobody heard about this guy. Okay. This is weeks and months before nobody heard of this guy. They were desperate for me to interview him and promote his video and get behind it and talk about it on the air. Desperation. That I was even blocking these people. And then they would go and find my other pages, and try and get in through Opperman Report or Awake or Opperman PI, my other pages. So these are people who had never friended me before, but knew I was somehow in radio and popular media, whatever like that. I had a lot of, big platform, right? And they were desperate to get this information to me. And so they knew I was a host somehow, but never were interested in anything I was doing until they were trying to promote this guy out there. This guy who somehow is a crowdsource investigator. What's the other thing? How would they call it? A citizen investigation. A crowdsourced investigation. Now, interesting. This guy pops up with his crowdsourced investigation, his citizen investigation, right around the time that I had done those Pizzagate interviews. I did those shows about Pizzagate, and I says, boy, I just kind of said rhetorically, I says, gee whiz, I got 40,000 people, clicking on this list. If every one of these people became a member, I could investigate Pizzagate and get real convictions. I could, if I had the funding, and I had, there's certain requirements you need to do this kind of thing. You need one person to go back and report to. You can't do a crowdsource invest. That's a nonsense. Crowdsource investigation, okay, is basically an investigation run by people with no qualifications, with no credentials whatsoever, with no client, with no...
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is.
Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
Hey, this looks cool. Workouts while you work in. Free trial. Sure, I'll click here. My birth date for a matching playlist. That's fun.
It's easy to be unsafe online.
My mother's maiden name for a water bottle? Sweet.
Now it's easy to help protect yourself. Norton 360 with LifeLock gives you device security, a VPN for online privacy, and identity theft protection, all in one. Opt in to cyber safety. Save 25% or more off your first year at norton.com/news.
Si tú y tus amigos ordenan de McDonald's juntos, deja que los demás agarren su comida primero. Yo sé, el solo pensar en el olor de las papitas y tener que esperar para meter tu mano en la caja y sacar unas suena loco. Pero por regla, si eres la última persona que sostiene la bolsa, entonces las papitas que se cayeron al fondo de la bolsa son tuyas. La paciencia paga, amigos. Para pa pa pa.
Accountability to anybody. But basically, they can stand in front of a YouTube channel and hold a shaky video and, and kind of drink while they're doing it. Listen, God bless you. I used to love drinking when I did the show. I would always have a drink right before I did the show. I'd love to have a drink right now. But I don't drink while I'm working. A real investigation. You don't walk into court drunk, when you're giving your testimony. You don't go interview a witness when you're drunk. You know what I mean? There's some stuff is serious business. You don't do that, But a crowdsourced investigation is something basic with no accountability, with no client, with no credentials, and no. Basically, you just go on, you ramble for 10 minutes, you look into a screen, and then you do a proof of life, because my life's in danger, and then people spend a lot of money, and there's no accountability for where the money goes, who's doing what with it, or what. Nobody knows. And I watched how that one formed before anybody even heard of this character, And then behind the scenes, me and people like Pierce Redmond start talking about, hey, you getting you hear this George Webb stuff? I don't want to talk about it on the air, but me and him got on the air. We talked about it. First we didn't mention his name, but then because you don't want to promote these characters, And then the guy crashed and burned. Now he's fighting with Jason Goodman and all these other characters and finding nuclear bombs, that don't exist. Getting pulled over a drunk driver, all kinds of craziness, man. Right? So what happens the past week or so is the same exact thing. And now I'm no longer in the third grade. I'm no longer, when someone sends me leaked docs that I jump up and investigate it, or I get a Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstake envelope in the mail and I jump up and, we won money. I'm not falling for this anymore. I fell for it a couple of years ago. I'm falling for it now. Now, I'm learning the ropes as I'm coming along. I've been doing this show 5 years. I'm not an idiot. And I get the same thing. I get the friend request. We got 2 mutual friends, same people as last time, because they know the easy way to slip in. They know the gullible types who are going to accept their friend request, and then they got to get to me. And I start getting this, Ed, they found a pedo camp. They found a pedo camp with a rape tree. And I'm a pedo camp. What the hell? What is this? Pedo camp? What the hell is a pedo camp? Okay, and now everyone's talking about it on 4chan and Reddit and stuff. Now pedo camp is a common. Everybody knows what a pedo camp is now. What is a pedo camp? Is where these human traffickers build these campsites in homeless communities, and they have a dugout hole in there, and they're holding children prisoner down there, and then they have a rape tree. Everybody knows what a rape tree is, right? You've heard that expression before, haven't you? Oh, we've all heard of rape trees, right? Nothing unusual about that. A rape tree. Right? Think how ridiculous. When I say it this way, doesn't it sound ridiculous? Doesn't it sound like the stupidest thing you've ever heard in your life? And there's hysteria over this. And the hysteria, people are promoting this guy, this nut job, this guy Arthur, Louis Arthur, right? He's got like 4 first names, guy, right? From the Veterans on Patrol group, right? Veterans on Patrol, Louis Arthur. And he stumbled upon this pedo camp, and he stumbled upon this rape tree, and he acts like he's seen these things before somehow. And everybody in alt media is just all a flutter over this. And if you look back, it's all the same folks that were all excited and all a bugaboo and all just a Twitter about the Walmart tunnels. As a matter of fact, this guy, Lewis Arthur, was one of these guys fascinated about these Walmart tunnels. And the same people who were convinced about the 2012 Mayan calendar, and the same folks about Jade Helm, and all that kind of stuff that over and over and over, there's this big hysteria in all media, and everybody talking about it, and they're all excited about it, and going on and on and on about it, and then nothing happens. It turns out to be nothing. Again, and again, and again. But it's the same folks. And now there are all these folks here, these same guys who are all talking about Nibiru and 2012 and all this other stuff. Now they're all pedo hunters. Now they're all advocates for little children being molested. It's amazing. Where were these guys when I started doing my show and I was looking for guests on these topics? Where were they then? That's what I got to ask you. When I was interviewing people from the Tim Tate, I'm doing an interview tomorrow with this guy. Where were they when I was finding Tim Tate, the guy from Conspiracy of Silence? Where were they when I was interviewing people, first-hand people involved in the McMartin case? Where were they then? My first show I've ever done on the radio as a host was about the West Memphis 3 and the child murders of those little satanic punks murdering those little children, 8-year-old boys. Where were all these people then? Well, they were talking about Nibiru. And, what other wacky stuff, right? But now it's fashionable to care about the kids and to take them all down. But also, too, you only care about these kids if you also blame it all, if it's all George Soros and Hillary Clinton. Nobody wants to talk about Trump and his fascination with little kids. Oh, no. It's got to be on. It's all connected to Hillary and the Democrats and the pedocrats. Let's take a little commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
Hey, check out our brand new sponsor, Dynamic Solutions 2. That's the number 2. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions. 424-888-2820. Tell them Ed Opperman sent you. You get a 10% discount.
Hey, you, podcast listener. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. Take the blue pill. You wake up in your bed and go back to listening to mundane podcasts that won't challenge your religious beliefs and your so-called truths about reality, the universe, and consciousness. Take the red pill. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast, hosted by Mark Anthony Peterson, and he will show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Event Horizon takes a walk into the paranormal with a splash of conspiracy. It's the podcast that would be born if David Icke and the X-Files had a baby. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast by Mark Anthony Peterson on Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Stitcher, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Remember, all we are offering is the truth, nothing more.
Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. Come on, we can take that. Come on, go. Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, private investigator Ed Opperman. All right, so just like everyone else, I get this YouTube. No, I got the YouTube video first. This is because then I see a couple of days later, I guess a lot of other hosts and characters, Twitter, big people, a million Twitter followers and those type of folks, got it too. Because then first one I noticed talking about it was those people, An Open Secret. They were supposed to come on that show. They did that documentary film. It's a good film, and I have my complaints about it, but I'm a little leery of these folks anyway. They're supposed to come on a show, then they didn't come on and never call me back. Who knows? But I started seeing them talking about it, and they were skeptical about it too. And when I watched the video the first time, right away you see this guy, this Lewis Arthur, and first of all, he describes himself as a veterans on patrol. So now right away, what difference does it make if this guy's a veteran or not, and everybody commented about it right away. The first thing they say, well, the vets who found it, and the vets, and the vets, and the vets. Okay, and because it's trying to invoke in your head the image of a hero, a hero veteran who somehow has some kind of higher qualifications than the average person to be walking down a trail and see a camp and analyze this camp as to what could be going on. Now, it turns out this guy's not even a veteran. He wears the military clothes and the camouflage jacket, and he talks in that military lingo, which right away, whenever I hear anybody start talking in that quasi-military lingo, that sets off alarm bells in my head too. Okay, like right away, man. I know something's up there, because when you talk to real military folks, they're not talking like that all the time. It's just there's a certain kind of guy that talks like that. I was spending last night, the guy fixing my cars, just retired from the military. He doesn't talk like that all the time. He talks normal. Okay. You know what I mean? And then I'm watching this guy, and he's doing his video. So they must have planned to do this video. And he's all agitated, and he's frantic and moving around, jerking around with his body, and he's showing us these different things, and the camera's kind of jittery and stuff like that. Now, if they really want to put together a presentation and they're claiming that they reported this to the Tucson police, and they wouldn't do anything about it. Okay? Which, again, that sets off alarm bells in my head, too. And you're watching him, and he's kind of frantic, showing us, yeah, we found this hole here, and we found solar lighting on his solar panels. And we found this swing here. So obviously they were letting the kids play on this swing. The kids they were molesting, they played on this swing. And then they showed this restraints on a tree, and it says, well, this is a rape tree. Which now, why would you need a rape tree for a little kid? Wouldn't you want to rape the kid inside out of sight? Why would you need to tie a kid to a tree to rape them? That makes no sense whatsoever. And then this panel here is for privacy while they're raping the kids. And then look here, here's an outdoor toilet. That's certainly a sign of a pedo camp. It was just ridiculous in many, many ways. Just beyond belief. And then once it got out there in the Reddit community and the 4chan community, then right away people start looking into the property and stuff. Well, it's connected to Carlos Slim, the Cemex cement plant. And it's invested by George Soros invested in this, and they made donations to the Clinton Foundation. So right away, there's connections to Clinton and Soros and all this other stuff. And I've gone on this before when I started talking about this originally. Why would Soros or Clinton or people with those kind of funds need an outdoor homeless encampment to rape children? They could rent apartments. They could rent a trailer, a van. They could have a building. They have the cement company right there. If they couldn't build a secret room underneath the cement plant in order to rape these kids, really, folks, if the cement plant, they can pour cement, right? We know.
Wow, I've got a whole 5 minutes before my next call. What should I do? Grab a snack? Nah. Text with mom? That's more than a 5-minute proposition. I have been looking at getting a new bank account. Is that even possible?
Can't believe you have extra time? You won't believe what you can do with it. Open a Regions checking account online in as little as 5 minutes. Then enjoy award-winning service and banking tools and tech that help you live in the moment. Learn more at regions.com/live in the moment. Regions Bank, member FDIC.
They can do that. They got a big building there.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Did you know that United Healthcare helps connect you to doctors and therapists with 24/7 access to virtual care?
So I could have therapy from my couch?
Yep.
Or a doctor appointment from my car?
If you wanted to.
Wait, you're right. I don't even like when people see me sing in the car. Couch appointment it is.
Virtual visits are just one of the ways United Healthcare helps connect you to better health. Learn more at uhc.com. Plan benefits may vary.
Fall is the most birthday-packed season of the year, so chances are you have a few celebrations coming up. Make sure your friends and family feel special with a gorgeous bouquet of roses from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers makes it easy to send the perfect gift. 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99. To get 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
So I started looking into things here. And ultimately, I contacted the Tucson Police Department there, and they sent me a press release. Okay, I'll read it to you. Media release, suspicious activity, West Valencia Road and South 119. Oh, by the way, too, the guy throws in, too, how it's probably MS-13 is involved in this as well, too. On May 29, 2018, the Tucson Police Department responded to the site of what appeared to be a one-time homeless encampment located on private property in the area of West Valencia Road and South 119. Several individuals from a group of affiliated homeless veterans discovered the site and expressed concerns about possible criminal activity at that location. Tucson Police Department officers, detectives, and command staff conducted a thorough inspection of the site, spoke to the reporting parties, and collected evidence based on the department's investigation into this point. There is no indication this camp is being used for any type of criminal activity, including human trafficking. Yesterday, an unsubstantiated assertion was made that a body might be buried at this site. A cadaver dog was used to check the area with negative results. The department has been in contact with the property owner, who advised no one has permission to be on the property. The police department and property owners are working with city code enforcement officials to clear out the encampment and secure the property. And Tucson Police Department takes all reports of suspected criminal activity seriously and appreciates the public awareness. They also talk later on about how they're going to be putting out the no trespassing signs. Okay, so Tucson Police did investigate this, okay? And they came up with nothing. Now, so now the theory is, well, Tucson Police, they're in on it because the mayor is a Rothschild, okay? All right, and they're covering all this up. Well, let's take a look into this Veterans on Patrol group and who this character, Lewis Arthur, is. All right. Now, there's some allegations, and I haven't been able to confirm this because I haven't spent that much time on it, is that he's not even a veteran, that his father's a veteran, but he wears the Army coats and stuff like that. So now, when you search for his name now, all you get is this pedo camp stuff. You get hundreds and hundreds of links of a pedo camp and, Lewis Arthur. But I guess you don't know this if you're running a crowdsource investigation or a citizens investigation. You probably only know this if you're a real investigator. But there's databases you can use. LexisNexis is one. DocuSearch is another one. There's several of them. And you kind of need more than one. But there's even some that your local public library will allow you to use for free. And you put in the name, and it's a search of only publications. Media publications, newspapers, magazines, stuff like that, that if you put the name in, it's only going to pull up newspaper articles about this person. Now, if you put it in Google, you're going to get everything with this name. But if you put it in these other databases, you're going to just get newspaper articles and reports and stuff like that about the person. And I found some interesting stuff. It turns out that this Lewis Arthur has a history of pulling stunts. And a couple of them that he does is he climbs up to the top of this flagpole tower. Okay. And he's up there and he gets himself arrested because he's trying to bring attention to veterans, right? And veterans that are suicidal. That's the theory. That's what he claims he does. He's also rather well known for his activity up at the Bundy Ranch up there. Not the Bundy Ranch, but the Bundy Standoff in Oregon. At Bend, no, it wasn't Bend, Oregon. I forget the name of the town. It's getting a little late. I'm tired. I'm hungry. Burns, Oregon. Okay. Now, I know a little bit about what went on up there because a friend of my church runs a ministry, and part of the ministry is the Hammond's daughter, okay, who lives on that Hammond ranch with the Hammond father and the Hammond brother who were going to prison. And you want to know what? They would have got a pardon. They had a deal where they were going to get out of prison right away. But the Bundys, when they went up there, caused a big scene in a standoff. They ruined the whole deal. Did you know that? Okay. So what this character Lewis Arthur does is he goes up there. See, because part of his thing with these veterans that he's rescuing is he finds these homeless veterans that have a little bit of mental illness or disabilities and stuff like that, and he helps them to get on disability and get financial aid from the government. And then what is alleged about him is that he becomes the controller of their funds. He becomes that authorized. Do you remember like when we had the show about John S. Captain and that girl who was murdered? And so you get control of the money, okay? And then once you're bringing these people down all the time, you get to know people down in Veterans Affairs and stuff like that, and you can kind of smooth things over and slip people in there and become the controller of the money. That's a good way to make a living. You know what I mean? That's a good motivation to go out and find homeless people. You know, if they're every new one, you're going to be control of their $1,000 a month stipend they're getting, right? By the way, too, there's also a little mysterious death of one of the original founders of Veterans in Politics. Veterans on Patrol. So we have a group here in Las Vegas called Veterans in Politics. Very similar to what's going on here, too. You look that guy up. That's a whole funny story in itself. I got to do a show about that one day. But what he had done was he had gone up there to Burns, Oregon, to where the standoff was. And he put up his own camouflage tent across the street from where the standoff was. And he said, well, this is a counter standoff. And they got into a fist fight in there with the guard at the gate and all kinds of nonsense going on. And he was even there the day that Pete Santilli, see, he went up there with this on this pretext that he was going to rescue the women and children. And one of the veterans who he knew who was suicidal and depressed and had a mental illness that was in this camp. And he was going to go up into the standoff and rescue these people with his people that he brought with him. There's also allegations, too, online. I haven't been able to confirm it or not, that he has a felony conviction. That's why he can't carry a firearm, but he has people around him carrying firearms. And he's constantly saying, I have no firearm, I have no firearm, if you watch all these videos. Now, so he was attracted to the limelight of Bundy Ranch, and he's on video a lot up there, not at Bundy Ranch, at Burns, Oregon Ranch, the standoff there, the reservation, wildlife, bird sanctuary that these guys took over. God, zooks. I got a whole story about that, too, by the way. All the nonsense that went on during that. Maybe we'll have time to tell tonight. So he went up there trying to make a name for himself, and he was there, too, on video. And guess who took the video? Mike Blue here. Well, one of my first guests on the show here, who does the cop watch stuff like that, you know. And I used to like him, too, and I don't know, but he seems to get involved in a lot of stuff, too, that I don't know. And we had some really shady people around the show that were stalking the show and stalking the guests and stuff like that. And I told him about it, and he was still befriending. I guess they were sending him money or something like that. And I don't know what. I can't even make that accusation they were sending him money. But I suspect that because even after I told this guy about this guy was stalking me and stalking the show and stalking guests of this show, which was really worse. They stalked one guy on his hospital bed, you know. And I told Blue Hair about it, and he ran right to him, and, you know, he was still with him. So it's kind of stuff like that makes me nervous. Anyway, so he was in the middle. So he's the one who filmed Santilli getting arrested. And who's standing right there? This guy, Lewis Arthur. Isn't it a coincidence? The same guy who injects himself, he's climbing up flagpoles to get arrested, he's injecting himself in Burns, Oregon, but this guy stumbles across the first pedo camp anybody's ever heard of in history. The cops investigated, there's nothing there, but still he's discovered this pedo camp, and now every alt media host in the world is all in uproar, and it's connected to Soros and Clinton and lions and tigers and bears, oh my. There were some other things about this guy too. Lewis. I'll find it in my notes here. I'm getting tired. I'm trying to wear myself out from the show. A couple of things. One of the theories here is that, Pizzagate was under Obama, and he helped cover it up. But now that Trump's in charge, that he's going to come after this, and he's going to uncover, he's going to rescue these kids, and the Clinton and Soros and the Rothschild are all going to go to prison. Right. Well, you got to wake up, man. Wilbur Ross, the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Commerce, the Secretary of Commerce. I gotta eat some food. The Secretary was Rothschild, the president of Rothschild Incorporated. Look this up. This isn't a secret. This isn't a secret. Trump appointed the head of Rothschild Incorporated to be the Commerce Secretary. Okay, and you think he's gonna bust Rothschilds? Anyway, he comes. Where does Trump come from? Roy Cohen. Listen to the show. Roy Cohen's been accused of being involved in Trump's guy, Roy Cohen. John Casablancas, right? Who ran Elite Modeling Agency, notorious pedophile. Trump's best friend. He turned over his own daughter to this guy. Sly Stallone, I did a whole show about it last week. Mike Tyson, we did a whole. Jeffrey Epstein, everybody knows about this. Co-defendant in a lawsuit. Right? George Nader. What about George Nader? This guy who was at the Seychelles Island meeting with the Eric Prince and stuff like that, and got busted on his way to going to Mar-a-Lago to meet Trump. Been to the White House. Convicted of both child pornography and child rape. No, he wasn't convicted of child pornography. He got off on that on a technicality. He was arrested for child pornography. They beat the search warrant. So anyway, listen, and back to this guy, Arthur Lewis Arthur, I'm sorry. And all the shenanigans that went on around Bundy Ranch and all that kind of stuff, go back and look up the shows I did about the Millers, about what went on at Bundy Ranch, and the shows that I did about the Hammonds. I had on that guy Miller, who was friends with the daughter, and they were part of the same ministry. I was doing shows about this before anybody. And then some other alt media host tried to book him. My guest was the pastor of this ministry. And he says, no, I had no Ed. I only want to do shows with Ed. So they went on the air and did a show and just made it up as they went along. They did a show and just made it up. And they were talking about that they were trying to take the Hammond's land and all this kind of craziness. And even the stuff that went on here at Bundy Ranch, people thought it was out by Prim. They thought it was out by Red Rock. They thought it was by Lake Mead. Just nonsense. Just utter nonsense. So, and by the way, too, when the people who were at the Burns standoff were listening to these shows on the radio, they were being told that reinforcements were coming, that militias were coming up there to help it, and that's why they extended the standoff. They thought that help was coming because the people on the radio were making it up, and they were listening to these online radio shows and thinking that this was really a reality. Now, also, too, I did some shows about the Millers at Bundy Ranch. This was a couple here who murdered some cops here in Las Vegas. And again, too, the alt media was just making it up. It's going to stories about this. But I knew people who knew them. And because when I hosted I moderated the sheriff's debate, I knew people who knew these Millers because they were running for governor and they were running for sheriff on that same party that Jesse Ventura ran on, right? I think it was the Peace and Freedom Party. I'm not sure. But anyway, so I knew what was going on with this I knew they were informants. They knew they were agents and all kind of stuff like that because it came out that they were informants and they were down at the Million Mask March. They were at Occupy Wall Street and then they were at this right-wing nutjob place up there at Bundy Ranch. And they're shooting cops. Nobody talks about it. The way they shot at the cops was very mysterious too, as well. There were a lot of shenanigans with that. But again, I tried to get that on the radio, and the same host over there at Revolution Radio wouldn't put it on. John B. Wells put it on. I put it on my show, but no, he's too busy. Couldn't put that on. These people, they got an agenda to put forward to you that's manipulating you and that's lying to you. And people have to start becoming using a little more discernment. And not circulating these wacky videos and these wacky characters like this Lewis Arthur, who has a history of being involved in stunts, and showbiz type stunts and stuff like that. And stop jumping to conclusions and stop running with this imaginary stuff that Trump is going to save the day when he's friends with all these people doing this stuff. He's up to his neck in this kind of activity. Maybe not at a pedo camp that's made up, but otherwise. I was going to do a little segment, too, tonight about how YouTube makes you go crazy. I've talked about this many, many times, and I just had a little bit. YouTube made me go crazy this week when they demonetized my account. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put up a description of the shows on YouTube, but you have to listen to the shows on Spreaker, Spreaker.com, Opperman Report, Spreak. If you just Google Opperman Report, you see all the different outlets you can listen to the show. Many, many stations play the show. It's on the drive time, Monday to Friday, AM radio. So it's easy to find the show. You don't have to deal with YouTube. But there's a whole article that came out about how all these YouTubers... Oh, let me see if I can find it. Here it is. It's on Polygon.com. And it's all kinds of YouTubers are going. And I've been thinking about this. And the big YouTubers are they're having breakdowns on the YouTube channel, and they're playing it. And one guy, Bobby Burns, sat on our park and talked about the mental health he had. Eli Mills, a creator with one piece of uploaded a video that included vulnerable footage. Rubius Anderson, the most popular YouTuber in the world, with just under 30 million subscribers, just commented reviews about his fear of impending breakdown and the decision to take a break from YouTube. YouTube makes you go crazy, man. They talk about the guy, PewDiePie, and Jake Paul. Check out this. All these guys, and there's something about YouTube, and there's some obsession with the number of views, you know. There's some obsession with the number of thumbs up and thumbs down, likes and dislikes. I forgot that at all. I don't even look at that. Now I'll see people commenting on the thing about, oh, who gave a thumbs down to this video? Who the hell cares? You know, who gave a thumbs down to a video? You know, it just makes no sense to me. And then also, too, you know, my channel, I had almost 2 million views on YouTube on this recent channel, and my previous one had 300,000. And you get comments on old videos every day. So you get about 200 comments a day that you have to check them out and moderate, because sometimes it's just completely crazy stuff, you know. Rejected ex-spouses and stuff, you know. People with gripes against the guest, you know, posting personal information, all kinds of weird stuff. You got to read, you got to sift through all these weird comments. And some of these people are just crazy. And many of them, or if not most of them, just sound angry and just upset something. They have some weird theory going on in their head with no basis in reality. So I can see how being a YouTuber, you know, and just being involved in that little YouTube community, and then you have the whole situation too where YouTubers, YouTube hosts are like fighting with each other and doing YouTubes about each other, you know, and you get caught up in this whole YouTube world. Like I remember this totally crazy guy. He tried to hire me, and he's a big YouTuber, you know. And I said, this guy's crazy. You know, I don't want anything to do with him. And then later on, he's making videos about me and stuff like that. And he's saying, he contacts me and says, well, before YouTube rules say I have to contact you before. And I says, what are you talking about? You know? Like, and then too, I had this problem too this week where they demonetized my account. So now I got all these YouTube experts coming out of the woodwork telling me how to deal with YouTube and how to appeal my account and how to do this and do that. You know, you got to understand, I'm a digital forensic investigator. I've dealt with YouTube harassment cases and YouTube stalking cases. I've done this stuff for a living. You know, I appreciate your advice, you know, but I kind of know my way around these things, you know, on how to handle my work and what I do. I'm kind of a capable person where people hire me to solve their problems. So I appreciate your advice, you know, and the amazing thing too is because I'm a person that people come to for advice. People actually come to me and ask my advice. They seek out my advice. And I never give advice before I'm asked for that advice. Take a hint. That's something you might want to think about and try in life, you know. Don't kind of offer your advice. Wait for people to come to you for advice. And if you're giving somebody advice and they kind of explain to you, hey, you don't know what you're talking about, that's not what the situation is, you don't start asking questions. And because, like, if you don't know what if you don't understand what my problem is, and you give me stupid advice because you don't understand what my problem is, the next step is not to ask me questions about my problem so then you could solve it on the fly, okay? Like, you're so much more brilliant than me. I'm so stupid that you can solve my problems just by chatting with me in 5 minutes. Give me a break, please, okay? Because the YouTube makes you go crazy, and it's made me go crazy, all right? I really did go crazy this week. Okay, this was such a crazy week with the car breaking down, and with the asset search I had to do, and then with the YouTube thing problem going on. So I went to the vitamin store, right? And I like to get some of that B12 in the drops, so you can just take the drops and you drink the drops down your throat there. And I also take I take a lot of supplements and stuff like that. So I take, usually in pill form, I'll take this stuff called Maca. Macca, and you can get it in powder form, you can get it in pill form, and I'll usually take some of this in pill form, and it gives you a little bit of energy, a little bit of clarity in your thinking and stuff like that, right? But I saw it in that little jar, with the eyedropper, just like the just like the B12. So I bought that. I said, oh, yeah, this is good, because I like to put the B12 in my tea, and so I get the Maca and I get the B12, and I said, you know what? Let me take a shot of this B12, and let me take a shot of this Maca too. So I didn't read the instructions on the Maca bottle, right? And it says you're only supposed to use 30 drops. But I took like the whole eyedropper. I drank the whole thing straight. You're supposed to put it in juice or tea, it says, right? Or a glass of water. You don't drink this stuff straight. So I drank the Maca straight, and I drink the B12 straight. So now I'm like shot out of a cannon, man. I'm like all hyper here. And I got to go to the bank. And I got a little crush on the girl at the bank. I think I talked about this before. So I get to the bank, and the girl says to me, so what do you think of those Knights? Did you watch those Knights last night? Because, the Golden Knights hockey team that was going to the Stanley Cup. I don't know. I could give less of a damn about these Golden Knights, and everybody's obsessed with it over here. It's driving me crazy. And she goes, so did you see those Knights last night? And I go, what? He says, what? That's the last thing I care about. Let me tell you something. I could care.
Peacock fuels your true crime obsession with exclusive new originals. John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise.
Clowns can get away with murder.
And Epstein's Shadow, Ghislaine Maxwell.
She inherited Jeffrey Epstein's secrets.
Plus the most bingeable crime series, Snapped. Sign up now at peacocktv.com. Peacock fuels your true crime obsession with exclusive new originals like John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise.
He said to me, clowns can get away with murder.
Dr. Death, the undoctored story.
This guy's dangerous.
And Epstein's Shadow, Ghislaine Maxwell.
She inherited Jeffrey Epstein's secrets.
There was this whole other world going on.
Plus the most bingeable crime series, Buried in the Backyard and Snapped. And with the Dateline 24/7 channel that's always on.
Did you want her dead?
You can't not obsess. Sign up now at peacocktv.com.
Fall is the most birthday-packed season of the year, so chances are you have a few celebrations coming up. Make sure your friends and family feel special with a gorgeous bouquet of roses from 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers makes it easy to send the perfect gift. 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99. To get 24 multicolored roses for just $39.99, visit 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/tune-in.
Less about the Knights. I hope they all die. I'm losing it online at the bank, screaming about these Knights, the Golden Knights, hoping that they all die. So I did kind of lose my mind. Sort of like a YouTuber. I lost my mind this week for a short moment there. And it's kind of funny. Because I thought that, I said, that's it, man. I blew it. And it's a long story. But anyway, I kind of got a crush on two girls at the back. But I went back. It's all smooth over. Everything's cool. They like me again. Okay. Even though I totally blew my lid over these Golden Knights. But the thing is, but back to the point about YouTube driving you crazy, man. There is no doubt in my mind. And part of it is because they have like these videos that they recommend for you. So once you start getting into these conspiracy theories and this out there kind of stuff, you become part of this isolated community that starts believing the most gullible hoaxes out there, and also too, the people that put out these videos, they know that. See, this is my problem. Okay, people say to me, Ed, well, how come you're not making money with the show? I go, something is because I got a smart audience, man. I'm not shooting for the gullible. I'm speaking to intelligent people for the most part, very intelligent people. I remember when I started doing my show on the first station there, I would listen to the roundtables and all the calls, and I'd say, these people are crazy. They're nuts. But when I started doing my show, the people that would call in were smart people, and they would say, oh, boy, yeah, finally we got somebody we can listen to. So I definitely attract an intelligent audience that's not gullible. And if you got a gullible audience, it's easier to get money from them. It's easy to trick them into sending money or manipulate their minds and stuff like that, and proof of life and all this kind of nonsense and stuff like that, and kind of, cater to the gullible and to the suckers who get all kind of excited and get chills when they're listening to these fairy tales, about stuff like that. And they're just, because so many of these, especially with Pizzagate, I was working on that for real. I got real witnesses. I got real people personally affected by that story. And I would watch these other, YouTubers, putting out their little 8-minute videos, and asking for money and getting huge donations, asking for gold and silver, my God, And I knew that they didn't talk to anybody involved, because I would just they'd be talking about someone I just got off the phone with, and I'd call them back and say, hey, did you talk to so-and-so? No, I never talked to him. I don't even know what he's talking about, So there you go, man. Guys, I hope you enjoy the show. If you like the show, check out OppermanReport.com. That's where we have the members section, and there's exclusive content in there. There's like 120 interviews on there that have never been on YouTube or Spreaker or anywhere free. You can only get them there in the member section. So what's that? That's like 200 hours of content, right? Then there's documents, there's videos, there's all kinds of stuff in there. Great content, and that's what helps support the show and keeps us on the air. We got this great new sponsor, cartking.com, but we're just back to where we were last week. You know what I mean? We're just breaking even because we lost the YouTube. I might be getting YouTube back. But to really support the show, become a member at OppermanReport.com. That's what, and then you're exclusive content. You become a member, and we can grow the show and get on more stations. And now a word from our sponsors. OppermanReport.com. Hey, do you like what you're hearing? Do you like the work that you see us doing here at Opperman Report? You can support that work by becoming a member at OppermanReport.com. And as you have access to over 200 exclusive shows and interviews that you can't find on YouTube or Spreaker or iHeart or iTunes or KYAH. You can't find them anywhere else online, exclusive to our member sections, to our members. Also, too, there's images, videos, documents, court docs. And don't forget, you can hear your ad played here on the Opperman Report, reach hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people on a daily basis, because the show is repeated every day all over the world. Contact me at oppermanreport@gmail.com, and I'll give you a good deal on advertising rates.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with pure soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
Is your credit in bad shape? Do you need a new car? Ready to buy a new house? You want to rent an apartment? Are you going to apply for a job? Any one of these activities, they're going to ask for a credit report and then check out your credit score. Let Dynamic Solutions 2 erase your negative credit remarks. They offer a life-changing, dynamic financial solution. The finest in fast, professional, affordable credit repair. They have affordable monthly prices. They accept Visa, MasterCard, PayPal options available. You go to www.dynamicsolutions2, that's the number 2.com, or call 424-888-2820. Now, if you enter promo code ED or you mention Ed Opperman, you get a 10% discount. How's that? You get a free consultation, all negative items removed, get back in positive credit position. Dynamic Solutions 2, life-changing dynamic financial solutions.
Hey, you, podcast listener. This is your last chance. After this, there is no turning back. Take the blue pill. You wake up in your bed and go back to listening to mundane podcasts that won't challenge your religious beliefs and your so-called truths about reality, the universe, and consciousness. Take the red pill. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast, hosted by Mark Anthony Peterson, and he will show you how deep the rabbit hole goes. Event Horizon takes a walk into the paranormal with a splash of conspiracy. It's the podcast that would be born if David Icke and the X-Files had a baby. Subscribe to the Event Horizon podcast by Mark Anthony Peterson on Spreaker, iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, CastBox, Stitcher, or any of your other favorite podcast platforms. Remember, all we are offering is the truth, nothing more.
Bundling home and car insurance with Geico is so easy, your neighbors are probably already doing it. But who? They may drop little hints like,
beautiful day out. Even more beautiful since we saved by bundling our home and car insurance with Geico.
Or,
yard work is hard. Much harder than bundling with Geico, which was easy.
Or it may be even subtler, like,
speaking of burgers, we bundled our home and car insurance with Geico and saved a bunch of money.
Bundling is easy with Geico. Just ask your neighbors.
And now it's Geico's Motorcycle Rules of the Road. Before you ride, make sure your mirrors are clean and adjusted properly. And if you're going on a group ride, make sure the lead biker knows where they're going.
Ed, quick question. Where are you taking us?
Oh, I have no idea. What, am I the leader? Because I was following that dude with the red helmet. Where is he?
And the rule to saving on motorcycle insurance is, in 15 minutes, Geico could save you 15% or more.
Peacock fuels your true crime obsession with exclusive new originals like John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise.
He said to me, clowns can get away with murder.
Dr. Death, the undoctored story.
This guy's dangerous.
And Epstein's shadow, Ghislaine Maxwell.
She inherited Jeffrey Epstein's secrets.
There was this whole other world going on.
Plus the most bingeable crime series, Buried in the Backyard and Snapped. And with the Dateline 24/7 channel that's always on.
Did you want her dead?
You can't not obsess. Sign up now at peacocktv.com.
Make your next career move your best. Verizon Retail offers the potential to earn up to $50,000 annually and amazing benefits starting on day one, including product discounts and tuition assistance. Apply today at verizon.com/retail careers.
Streaming. Peacock fuels your true crime obsession with exclusive new originals. John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise.
Clowns can get away with murder.
And Epstein's Shadow, Ghislaine Maxwell.
She inherited Jeffrey Epstein's secrets.
Plus the most bingeable crime series, Snapped. Sign up now at peacocktv.com. Peacock fuels your true crime obsession with exclusive new originals like John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise.
He said to me, clowns can get away with murder.
Dr. Death, the undoctored story.
This guy's dangerous.
And Epstein's Shadow, Ghislaine Maxwell.
She inherited Jeffrey Epstein's secrets.
There was this whole other world going on.
Plus the most bingeable crime series, Buried in the Backyard and Snapped. And with the Dateline 24/7 channel that's always on.
Did you want her dead?
You can't not obsess. Sign up now at peacocktv.com.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.
Only on Peacock.
John Wayne Gacy is suspected of having killed as many as 32.
Straight from the killer's mouth.
They want you to believe that I alone committed these murders.
The new gripping 6-part documentary series that investigates the crimes that shocked the nation.
The thing everybody thought they knew wasn't the whole story.
John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise. All episodes streaming now.
Devil in Disguise.
Only on Peacock. Streaming only on Peacock.
John Wayne Gacy is suspected of having killed as many as 32.
Straight from the killer's mouth.
They want you to believe that I alone committed these murders.
The new gripping 6-part documentary series that investigates the crimes that shocked the nation.
The thing everybody thought they knew wasn't the whole story.
John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise. All episodes streaming now.
Devil in Disguise.
Only on Peacock.
Hi, my name is Joe, and I'm a home decor overspender.
Hi, Joe.
I made a breakthrough. I found HomeSense. It's unreal. So many brand name sofas. I bought one.
Oh, wow, really?
It's okay. The prices, so low. Lighting, unexpected. Rugs, handcrafted. Wall art, eclectic. I go back like every week. No, it's always different. New unique decor, same great savings. Every time you go.
Field trip.
HomeSense. Standout pieces, outstanding prices.
Streaming only on Peacock.
John Wayne Gacy killed 32.
Straight from the killer's mouth.
They want you to believe that I alone committed these murders.
The new gripping 6-part documentary series, John Wayne Gacy, Devil in Disguise. All episodes streaming now, only on Peacock.
The new Discovery Plus original true crime series, Curse of the Chippendales, explores how 3 men created a world of sex, greed, and murder that none of them could escape. Curse of the Chippendales, now streaming exclusively on Discovery Plus. Start your free trial at discoveryplus.com. Terms apply.
Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC. Care has the power to bring kindness where it's needed. It brings out the best in every one of us. It doesn't just see people. It takes time to understand them. It puts the needs of others ahead of its own. And when you start with care, you end up with a very different kind of bank. Truist. Truist Bank, member FDIC.